Hello YouTube, Damo_23 here, and welcome back to another episode of Leicester Reborn. In today's episode, we have the Carabao Cup final versus Jurgen Klopp's men at Wembley. And this is the third season in a row where we have met Jurgen Klopp's men in a final at Wembley. 2 years ago, we beat them in the FA Cup final. Last year, we lost in the Community Shield final and, of course, the FA Cup final in two very good games, has to be said, both FA Cup finals. One from our point of view where we dominated them, and last year's one, highly recommend checking out, even though we lost. Lots of drama, lots of action, and a penalty shootout as well. With that being said, this is the be-all and end-all of our season. As you can see, we're currently 11 points back after drawing against Spurs, and last episode we did throw away a 3-goal lead against Bayern Munich in Germany to get knocked out of the Champions League. With this being said, this is the be-all and end-all unless we find ourselves in our third consecutive FA Cup final this year. Important to note, we just had our youth intake, and we have got a player now. I doubt he's going to be here, but he's definitely going to be here until he signs. And he's a keeper, and he's Spanish, and his name is Ivan Ramos. And as you can tell here, 5-star potential, which makes him world-class. Always important to get keepers, especially when you're looking long-term at the save being a more homegrown sort of save. Find that this is the hardest to kind of find players. Quite a lot of 13s and 12s and 13 passing as well, which is quite nice, but free vision. He's the sort of guy that we're going to be working on behind the scenes, get him playing, sweeper keeper, and get him training that way. But yeah, something to keep your eye out. He seems like he could become quite good. At 16, there could be another growth spurt too. So yeah, look, a keeper to look out for in the future. Hopefully he hits his potential because it means he'd be very usable at the back end of this save. In terms of the team though, we're in a pretty good form. Unfortunately, Elise is not fit for the bench. He is not ready for a fitness test, which means Adam Lynch is going to start. But outside of that, the rest of the team is at full strength, and this is the team taking on Liverpool today in the Carabao Cup final. It's Meslier, Livramento, Tamori and Marshall with Thomas, Lavia, Thuram, Lynch, Smith Rowe, Addison, and obviously Velez is up top as well. I've just found him and he's got his work rate to 15, so another 15 to add to the list for Jorge Luis Velez. He's a man that I'm going to keep speaking about because for me it's all about if his physicals, especially the acceleration and the pace, get to 15, he is going to be unstoppable. If they don't, then we're going to be and the quicker they develop, the more I can start working on some mental attributes that are 13 to get them to 15 too, because there is a world where he gets 20 plus 15 stats. I swear I'll stop banging on about him, but I really do hope he just kicks on towards the end of this season and really has a good time of it. Now, with us being out of the Champions League, it's going to allow me to play my first team still a little bit more. More so torn that if I lose this Carabao Cup final, do I buy a player? And I'm thinking left back now, not because Luke Thomas is bad. And look, to be fair, I want Luke Thomas to be long-term our left back because he's English and he's very well-rounded, and I think you can't really do too much better. But there is a world where we could probably go for that. There's also a world where I could maybe go for a full, another centre-back again, and go around and maybe try and sell Tamori on for whatever who wants him, Man United, Barcelona for big money, and get another big name. But I don't think that's the case. Last thing I am going to say here, we didn't get a good intake, 114 mils of transfer budget. I'm definitely going to go snooping around, and when next gen comes out, I don't know if I'm going to be allowed to sign players because I'm only allowed 6 foreign players, but I also think that because we're outside the window and they're not joining until later, we should be able to sign them because it'll be a new season. With that being said, let's go and have a look how we made it to the Carabao Cup final, and then let's go and have a look at Liverpool and get into this game here. So, as you can see, we beat Luton 3-0, Newcastle 1-0 in a game we gave you as an episode, which is very rare. We beat Brighton 4-1. You guys saw the Arsenal 2-1 results, and we got Liverpool in the final. Liverpool themselves are top of the tree, been pumping sides left, right and centre, and they are having a fantastic year, and they're into the next round of the Champions League and probably one of the favourites for the competition. This is one of the very few stages where Jurgen's still in charge, and Liverpool are flying as one of the best teams in the world. You sometimes see on FM where they really suck at the beginning and then they change through managers and whatever, and you see some stages where they just consistently finish 4th and 3rd. Jurgen stays for a while and they eventually will win a Champions League but never win the league sort of thing. This has been one of those saves where they just dominate from minute 1 and they're quite hard to beat. With that being said though, they got West Ham in the first round where they won in a shootout. They beat United 1-0 in the replay of last year's final. Knocked out Crystal Palace 4-1 before beating Bournemouth by 7-1 in the Carabao Cup semi-final. They are a fantastic team. For those wondering who they sign every year, they sign Mateus, They signed this youngster. He's an 18-year-old that looks good, and Vilberno, who's 6'6" and is a very well-rounded striker as well, arguably better than Velez. Jota and Sotalo, Gavi and Enrique Aranjo, Taremi, Berami and Savic, who still plays in the middle of the park. We've played Liverpool a lot down this save, so let's go and see what we're going to do today. As I said, that is the team. I am playing Lynch out there because while Elise's out injured, I need Lynch to play as many minutes as possible. He's the only one in the team that I think will get to the 5-star mark. I really hope he does. He's also someone that I could play at left back. That is correct, ladies and gentlemen. You might be thinking, Damien, that is wild, but if you have a look at him, he's got 10 tackling, and he's very good at getting up and down. Yes, he can't mark, but I do think as someone long-term, as a backup left wing-back, could be an option, which I know is crazy, but definitely something I have been thinking about. With that being said, without further ado, let's get into this game here and see how we can go against Liverpool Football Club. Let's go in there, let's get it done, and I hope, fingers crossed, will be okay. Let's see how they're lining up here today. They've got Kelly in goal, which is perfect for us because he's the backup keeper, but he is very good. Trent, Konate, Van Dijk, and Tsimikas is playing over Robertson. Fabinho, Gavi, and Milinkovic-Savic. Salah, Nunez, and Arundro is a very world-class front three. And you look at the bench, you've got Alisson, Connor Bradley, who has been playing a lot for them in pre-season, in real life, Harvey Elliott, Cody Gakpo, Alexis McAllister, Stefan Bajatek, who was transfer listed for 60 mil, might be still listed, is up listed for 61. Adam, the wonder kid who looks outrageous as a German centre-back, Joe Gomez and Sotalo as well. Let's go in there. Let's see what we can do. I don't like it that we haven't won in our last three, but we did win a couple of the ones earlier on. It is the Carabao Cup final. It's Liverpool, it's Leicester, it's Wembley. It feels like us and Liverpool are just destined to meet each other in finals at the moment in this save. And well, let's see what we can do here. And for those wondering, why haven't you played United yet? I actually got them in the next round of the FA Cup. We always get United to get through to a big knockout game. And that being said, Virgil finds Fabinho into Gavi and finds Enrique Aranjo, who looks over the top. Liverpool finds Salah, who rolls around, cuts it, Savage hits, and like the first FA Cup final, which we won, we go 1-0 down early. 7 minutes in, Milinkovic-Savic scores. You think we need to win this game for our season not to be a write-off this year? I guess if you tell me that we go and get the FA Cup final, we lose both cup finals, there is progression there, especially considering we've got some younger players that are breeding through, like Velez, for instance. But yeah, I would much rather us obviously win today. Yet to have a shot though, in 52 minutes played, it is a highlight here for Connor Kelly, who finds Virgil van Dijk. Costa Tsimikas with the ball, and he looks into the options around him, but Tarum will win, and he'll go all the way back to Meslier. He finds Jose Marcha. Thomas now can drive, who has had a very good year this year. Asan now needs an option. Back to Lavia, finds Luke Thomas. Had an option to play Velez, decided against it, and now we need to force Kelly along, which we do. Now, Darwin versus Livramento, and Livramento does enough. Tomori now. Need this to be our highlight, you feel. Thomas, Jose Marcha. We're comfortable playing out the back, but Liverpool comfortable in a press too, it has to be said. Out to Livramento. Adam Lynch presented at feet. Poor touch from Livramento. Not often you say that, but he wins that one back. And he goes back to Meslier. He goes out there looking for God knows who, because that run was never on. Enrique Aranjo heads just wide. Meslier needs to have a hard look at himself, because that is one of the worst pieces of distribution I've seen through him all year. So far, first 20 minutes, all Liverpool Football Club. We need to get on the shot, sheet, and we finally have now. Now it looks a little bit better. Now we look like dominating here in the final. 32 minutes played. Even game now according to the stats. Maybe we're starting to deal with the pressure. And Lynch now with a ball in back stick. Lavia made a deep run and heads over. Anything on target was a goal. I was really hoping it was going to be a Son or Velez that was going to park themselves under that header, because they're both very good. Smith Rowe now looking back stick, looks for Tomori. And that's going to fall to Enrique and Runjo. And we don't force a turnover here. Yes, we do. Luke Thomas wins. Needs to keep it. Tomori. Jose Marcha. Good press from Liverpool. Look at their shape. Force us all the way backwards there. And their shape's still very good. Tarum drops in. Ball over the top. Velez is there. Good touch. Virgil gets a block on it. Was good movement from the 6'7" striker. You could just tell if he had that half a yard of pace, he would be very deadly. Smith Rowe now. Whips one in towards the front stick. Cleared away. And that's going to be a Son to deal with it. Tarum. Into Livramento. And that's probably your highlight. So far here at Wembley, we've arguably probably deserved a goal ourselves, but we haven't got one. We are 1-0 down. I'm almost tempted to do this as well. I'm going to move to a deeper lying forward on attack. Or complete forward on attack. I'm actually going to go to complete forward here. I want to see what Velez does as a complete forward. I want to see him bring his height into the game, his physicality into the game, and maybe link up with a few other players. Haven't used complete forward in ages, but I just think we're maybe missing out a little bit with the big man striker with this. And saying that was poor and Milinkovic-Savic now on a run. His ball inside of Darwin Núñez. Enrique and Runjo. Oh, it's a great one too. If this goes in, it's game over, isn't it? Well, 54 minutes played. As well as we've played here at Wembley, we have not scored, and Liverpool scored 2. You scared the shit out of me.
When you finish, how long are you going to be?
Yeah, well, what do you need?
I need you to go and close off the water.
No problems.
Okay.
There we go. 2-0 down in the final. Mum's disturbed us. Great timing as always. 58 minutes played. Not much happening. It has not been good at all. I worry about Velez. I just don't think we're getting good form out of him. I know it's early on. Alright, we're going to move Silva up front here. I also worry about this man, Lynch. Lynch has not had a good time of it at all. Rooney's in. We need goals. Drewsbury Hall can take a dead ball. Almost tempted to bring in Elise just to see if it provides something. 2-0 down. It has not been our day. Play for a set piece as well. Is there going to be a moment here, or are we out? It doesn't seem like there's going to be a moment. 13 shots free versus 9 shots free. Do you think we fucking find the back of the fucking net? Kefren Turam out, Hassan into there. I'm going to move Rooney to the other side. Elise's on. Hassan's going to go Segundo Volante on attack. Elise on one leg. Find me a moment, please. Alright, we need this to be a goal, this highlight. We go long looking for Silva. He's not going to win that. Well, Virgil maybe he's missed it. Silva, you must score. Oh, fucking Virgil's everywhere. How we have not scored today is beyond me. How we have not scored today is beyond me. 1.72 XG. This has cost us our season in the league. It's going to cost us in the Carabao Cup final. And yet again, Liverpool beat us in another final. It is over. Our run to the final is over. We have lost the Liverpool Football Club. There's not much we can do. Our season is cooked. And this has been our worst year so far in the save. Where everything looked at the start of this year, a year where we really thought we could win the league, a year where we should have won the Carabao Cup, and a year that we probably thought that a deep run in the Champions League was going to happen. After making the semi-final, finishing second and losing in the FA Cup final and making the FA Cup final for the second time in a row last year. This year we've lost the Carabao Cup final. We got Man United in the quarter-final. We could be out in the early stage that we have been in this competition in the save. And we've got past the knockout stage of the round of 16 in the Champions League. Yes, we did get Bayern Munich, so we probably have to look at that in a vacuum. We've also missed a lot of chances. Our new 6'7" striker signing has not done anything, and I don't know what to do. I'm very perplexed. That is not a good final, and that is not a good game from us here at all. With that being said, next episode, I don't know where it's going to be. It's either going to be towards the end of the season to say season's over, we finish the season here, or it's going to be us fighting for the title. If we somehow make the FA Cup final, you'll see that as well. But with that being said, guys, without further ado, that is the end of the episode there. Thank you very much for watching this one. 14 minutes of pretty much just pure pain. We played pretty well. I wonder what the Data Hub said. The Data Hub said that, look, arguably we've had the better of the game and we weren't able to score. One day we'll win the Carabao Cup final. It should be the easiest competition to win because most teams rotate. We can't seem to do it. Velez, we're going to go and, just this guy's form's been a little bit weird. I don't know. How do you get the best out of a big man striker? I do not know. Until next time, thank you very much, guys. Have a great one. Bye.